So I wanted to learn more about a video game called Five Nights at Freddy's. I wanted to get the lore of it and how it works and stuff like that. Now I do have a book on it, but the book just tells me how to actually play the game and the best strategies to play the game. But in this video, I'm going to go into the lore and the specific on the stats of Five Nights at Freddy's. This video is only going to be Five Nights at Freddy's 1. If this video does well enough and I actually do enjoy it, then I'm going to make the other ones because there is a large part of the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's and there is just too much to make for this one video. So, the release date of Five Nights at Freddy's was August 8th, 2014. The developer is Scott Calthanon. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, I'm sorry. But right now I'm just trying to get through the beginning stuff, the boring stuff, you know, so we get into the actual details on the actual game. And the genre of the game is point and click survival horror. And finally, the setting of the game, the actual plot point of where it's going to be is Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's basically like Chuck and Cheese. Chuck and Cheese? That sounds... Chuck and Cheese? That sounds so wrong. That doesn't sound correct in my... Chuck and Cheese. Anyways, I also do want to point out before I get into the actual lore of the Five Nights at Freddy's, is after I got done researching everything and stuff like that and actually going and dwell into it, into the book and stuff, the book mentioned something about Night of the Museum. And I was like, wait a second, that actually makes so much sense because Night of the Museum has the same concept of Five Nights at Freddy's where there is a night guard and at nighttime the stuff becomes alive. That is just mind-blowing to me because the first movie I watched in theaters, I'm pretty sure was Night of the Museum. I don't know why I said, okay, anyways. That is just mind-blowing to me. I just had to talk about it. So basically, you are the security guard that is working nights and trying to see where the electronics are, you can say. And you're trying to work 11 a.m. to 6 a.m. without, I guess, getting caught by the electronics, even though they know you're there. But you're just trying to security guard things, I guess. And you have 5 nights before they try to kill you. That is just the basic foundation of the entire game. Just survive and don't die. So now we're going to go into a little book point, I guess you can say, on the game mechanics. So in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, you are stuck in this little area where there is a screen. I'm going to show you on screen. Okay, get it? Screen. But basically, you're stuck in a security office and you cannot move. And you have security cameras that basically looks throughout every single camera throughout the whole place. And you also have limited power and you have to control the lights to actually see out in the hallways. And you have cameras that take power and then you have the doors that you have to close so when the electronics come near you, you don't just instantly die. You have to close the door so you don't die. And if the power goes out, you will probably get jump scared, either get scared or not. I guess it doesn't really matter, but you will die and have to reset that night. You just reset the night, you don't reset the whole game. There is an option, or not an option, but a way to reset the whole game. I'll talk about that later. So now we're going to go into the main electronics that are in the game and what they do. So basically the main electronic, the main guy, the voice singer you can say, is Freddy Fazbear, who's active later in the game around night 3+. And he stays still while being watched, sneaks through the right side. So he just goes to the right side. This is my right. This is probably your left. This is probably your right here. I think the camera's inverted. But on your right side is where he usually goes. And then there's Bonnie the Bunny, which comes from the left side and is very active in one of the first threats that you come across when you're playing the game. And then there's Chica the Chicken, which comes from the right side also, but is often seen in the kitchen. But I think it's audio only. I might be mistaken on that, but it might be audio only. And then there's Foxy the Pirate Fox, which hides in the Pirate Cove. If you don't click on him often, he sprints at you, and you do not want someone being sprinting at you when they're trying to kill you. And then finally, there's Golden Freddy, which is a secret, I guess you can say, and often is rare. It teleports to your office from a hallucination, and it crashes your game if you don't act fast, which this is where I was saying where your whole game resets, and it's not just resetting the night. So the strategies of the game is what we're going to be talking about next. So you want to check the Pirate Cove often. So Foxy doesn't, you know, come after you. And you only want to use lights when it's necessary because it drains your battery, and if your battery dies, you're cooked. You don't want to keep your eyes on every single camera every single time of the second because that also does run down your battery. So you want to keep your eyes on the doorway so you don't run all your battery down. That is the main objective, by the way. Don't get caught by the electronics and don't run down your battery because you will run down your battery faster than what you think. And it progressively gets worse over time, like your battery will go down faster throughout the days, I guess you could say. So you want to conserve that as much as you can. Now we're getting into the lore, okay? The lore of the game. So basically, the electronics, okay? The electronics, this is probably common information, but this is for people that don't know. The electronics are basically haunted by children that are possessed by them, I guess. That is the best way to put it. And the children were murdered by a guy that was referenced as Purple Guy. So do with that information as you will. Go after him. And basically, the spirits inside of the electronics are basically like a Don't mind that word of which I just said. I don't know what that was. Basically, they just think that you're the killer and they try to kill you because they think that you're the killer that killed them. And basically, you trap them. Basically, they think that you trapped them in there. And your job is not an easy job, and it doesn't have a good history because there are history where the other security guards just go missing sometimes and mysterious stuff happens in that building. And over time, you get a call from a previous worker that just tells you on how the game, like how the stuff works and how it's very dangerous the more you go. So now I'm going to show you like a graph type deal on how difficult the games are. Night 1 is easy, it introduced the mechanics. Night 2 is moderate, Foxy starts moving. Night 3 is a little harder because Freddy becomes active. And then Night 4 is more intense because the aggression ramps up. Night 5 is very hard. It's final normal night, I guess you can say. It's just the final one. And then there is a Night 6, I'm pretty sure, which is like an extra, but it's more aggressive, I guess. And it says it's AI, but I don't know. And then apparently there's a Night 7 if you do a custom night, but I'm not even going to go into that. This is the interesting part right here. What is happening with my hair? Do not mind my hair, guys, but there are Easter eggs. Okay, I'm going to go through the Easter eggs and I guess the quote-unquote secrets. So first is the Golden Freddy poster that flashes, triggers a jump scare. So, by the way, guys, let me know in the comments if y'all have had any of these secrets dealt with y'all, if y'all in the game or in the Golden Freddy. Just let me know in the comments if that's ever happened to y'all. There's also a rare posters and newspaper clipping, hints missing children that are, I'm guessing, possessed by the electronics. The game also has tons of lore clues that are just boom, boom, boom everywhere. And then there's also It's Me hallucination, teases the identity of the killer, which is quite interesting, but I've never seen any of these. Now, this started the Five Nights at Freddy's legacy, the franchise in general. This was all the beginning of everything that created this whole ordeal, which I'm glad it did. There's also a whole bunch of books, sequences, and just fan-made games, and then now there's movies, which is really cool. But it's mainly known for its jump scares and tease gameplay. A lot of the YouTubers like Markiplier and Corey Kenshin made it popular on social media, and then that just exploded the game, so it made it even bigger. But that's all the stuff that I know personally about Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't know it all by my little brain right here. I did have notes to like tell you guys on what I was talking about because there's no way my brain can remember all those little tiny details. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. On the way to 3,000 subscribers, where our end goal is 10 right now because I'm trying to collab with I'm Brandon Ferris, and he said when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I can do it. But let me know in the comments if I missed anything, because if I missed anything, I want to know so I can learn it. Because that's the whole point of doing this, so I can learn more and more and more, because I don't know all the lore and I want to learn the lore. That was the whole purpose. I'm doing this for fun. But anyways, guys, peace out.